So my name is Nick Franke, I work in Vienna, and what I'm going to tell you about is a paper that is joint work with Peter Vandora. Well, actually, migration is a hot topic obviously right now, and mostly seen as a threat, or there's much populism on migration. At the same time, we observe that migrants, people with a cross-cultural background, are those who founded very successful companies. An example is Elon Musk, another example is Sergey Brin from Google, or Andrew Gore. And there's also systematic evidence that actually migrants start firms more often than non-migrants, and also they're particularly successful in high-tech startups. So the question is, why is that? It's an interesting question. It puts a different perspective maybe also on migration. And the standard answer so far from research on that issue is basically it's a matter of selection effects. Those who are particularly bold and are willing to take risks, those people migrate, and those are at the same time, those capabilities also increase chances to start a company. And sometimes also governments have policies that favor specific characteristics that also favor the likelihood or increase the likelihood of founding a startup. And there are some more explanations, but they all relate to, let's say, selection and discrimination. And our thought was that the process of migrating, this cross-cultural experience, may have an impact on the person. That we wanted to investigate empirically. Is there an effect of migrating, of having cross-cultural experience on the probability of starting a company or the capability to spot a profitable opportunity? We carried out 2 studies on that issue. The first study was a natural experiment. We had a sample of students and we tested their opportunity recognition capabilities. And then they spent a semester abroad at another university. And after coming back, a year later, we again tested their opportunity recognition capabilities and found a considerable difference, 17% performance increase. And in order to control for, let's say, maturation, maybe they just got older and more capable in any ways, we had a second group, structurally similar, that did not go abroad. We also tested them in how far they improved, and they did not. Altogether, it was a 20% difference between these 2 groups. So that was the first study. So clear proof there is something going on. This first study clearly shows that there is some effect, but it can be criticized for 2 reasons. First reason, we're talking about students here, and not necessarily the same as migrant entrepreneurs. And second thing, it's not a clean experiment because there is some kind of self-selection into these 2 groups. We couldn't randomize them. So what we did was set up a second experiment, which is a priming study. We had a sample of migrant entrepreneurs and we assigned them randomly to 2 groups. And the first group we primed with remember a typical day abroad. And directly after that, we did this test on opportunity recognition. And the second group, we did not prime with that, but with remember a typical afternoon back in Vienna. This simple prime resulted in a performance increase of 26% actually. We saw something that could be transferred, so the arbitrage argument. And the second thing is the Schumpeterian argument. There were some pieces we could assemble in a creative way, in a creative new way. Both explanations really applied to them. If you want entrepreneurs, if you want entrepreneurship, create cross-cultural experience, either by mixing students, mixing people with across cultures, or by sending them abroad, let them study abroad, sending managers abroad and getting them back. So this has an impact on their capability to spot opportunities. A gain in entrepreneurship in one country goes at the expense of the other because there's brain drain. the strong entrepreneurs move from A to B. Our results indicate that this is not necessarily the case, because this process of moving from A to B, this cross-cultural experience as such, has an effect. So it's a welfare gain. And from my perspective, that's also one of the nice messages regarding migration, that it can be something that increases welfare.